Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. Well, I warned about something, and then I saw something else come up. I have actually been warning about inventory problems in both Escambia and Santa Rosa County for a bit, and here in a minute I'm going to show you what I am afraid of is starting to happen. So there's a concern here that is very, very valid. There's also another concern. Some of you have heard with interest rates going up on mortgages, you heard me talk the last couple of weeks about convection hedging, and those types of things. Well, I saw an article this past week in the Journal that made me start to look. I'm paying attention. I do not see us in a foreclosure crisis. Let me preface all of this. I don't see another foreclosure crisis. I don't see another 2009 right now. I mean, who knows what 2030 holds, but right now I don't see one. Next 5 years, I just don't. I don't see there's any way for property prices to go down, even with the inflation conversations. I think that our property appreciation is going to slow. And if you're an investor, you need to be looking at cash flow, not just appreciation. That's speculation, that's trading, and although it has its place, you have to be able to buy it at the right place. But here's the article that I read. It said that last year, 2020, was the biggest refinance boom in a while, and it's because rates were so low. But people also took a ton of equity out in cash. They did that as a buffer for 2020, which is, we had no idea what was going to happen. What was it, a year ago when everything got shut down? So we had no idea what was going to go on. So people started pulling equity out. And if you've watched this show, you know that I referenced first quarter of 2020, Jamie Dimon's comments. Jamie Dimon runs a little company called JP Morgan Chase. You may have heard of him. But he actually made a statement that he reviewed all his mortgage loans from early 2000s, 2008, 2009, and that his average loan to value at that point was in the 90s, low 90s, 92, 93%, but that his average loan to value here in 2020, remember this was the first quarter of 2020, was in the low 50s. I'm curious with the Wall Street Journal basically saying that a lot of people not only refinanced for the lower interest rates, but also refinanced to get the cash out, how we've seen that increase. Do I see that? Because the numbers they started quoting, 1.3 billion or something. In equity, I don't see that as going to impact us much at all. Let's say, worst case scenario, it got to 70%. I don't think it did. I think it's probably going to be in the 60s. That's still 30, 40% equity in properties, which is what is the major difference between 2009 and 2021. Because people ask me, are we going through another crash? Should I wait? Especially buyers right now. Should I wait because the sellers are demanding so much and we're starting to see stuff over list price? Should I just wait? I don't see anything that brings it down. Nothing. Nothing brings it down because we've got an inventory problem. And wait till I show you what I'm talking about even more this week. This is something I've been preaching for a bit, but now I'm going to actually show you the statistics. So let's take a look at our two counties right now. Let's go. All right, if you've never seen the show, you don't know I start off always with this slide right here. It says if we have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, we have what's called a neutral market. Anything greater than 7 months is considered buyer's market. Anything less than 6 months is considered a seller's market. What the slide doesn't say is anything greater than 9 months is considered a hyper buyer's market. Anything less than 3 months is considered a hyper seller's market. We're going to start off in Escambia County, and it looks very similar, although I'm starting to see inventory still drop. We're at 350 properties active. If you've never seen the show, over here on the left is your price range. Over on your right, on the right is the estimated months, and I color code them. So everything up to 600,000 is a hyper seller's market, under 3 months inventory based on our definition. Everything over 600,000 is a seller's market with that luxury 700,000 plus creeping up. If you remember last week, that was in the 4s. That's now 5.2 months. There's some other properties I know coming soon, so I suspect that may hit a neutral market soon. So everybody keeps talking, it's all a seller's market. Well, not necessarily. This one's getting close. So if I'm marketing this type property at 700,000 plus, my marketing's changing. My negotiations are changing. If I'm marketing 200 to 250 where there's 31 properties, or 250 to 300 where there's 45 properties total, okay, my marketing's different. My negotiations are different. My negotiations, both on the buyer side and the seller side, are different. So as a buyer, I understand these are selling for 99 to 100% a list. Whereas a seller saying, I don't have to take 95. I don't have to take 95%. I just don't. So that is a Scambia County right now. Let's sneak over. This is what I wanted to show you. I have been screaming that we don't have enough inventory in Santa Rosa County for, gosh, ever. Feels like. Look, the 550 to 600, we're now out. We have nothing. Somebody gets approved for 575, want to buy a property in Santa Rosa County, you don't have anything. And let's say we can stretch it and get you up to 600. Well, between 600 and 650, we got one. Okay, Shane, well, that's still, not necessarily the majority of buyers. Okay, 150 to 200, I got 7. And those properties need some work. 100 to 150, I got 8. Let's get on up to the 200s. 200 to 250, I got 13. These are 0.2 months. Everything's selling at 100%. When I say there's an inventory crisis, I mean there's an inventory crisis. When I say sellers, if you're even considering liquidating, now would be a really good time to do it, because when you're the only game in town, it's kind of tough. But I do want to say that if you accept a contract with financing, that appraisals are still a thing. And go back and watch last week's episode if you want to talk about my appraisal waiver stuff. I had not a huge fan. I do see it for certain price points, and I can advise is the word I'm looking for. I need another cup of coffee. I can advise my clients on an appraisal waiver to a certain point, but some of my friends across the country are seeing appraisal waivers like, hey, if the appraisal comes in $100,000 under our purchase price, I'll just cover the difference in cash. I can't advise a buyer to do that. I just can't. Would you be upside down on your loan? No, because the loan's only going to be lent on based on the appraisal. Would you be upside down based on your cash out? Yep. But are we going to see more and more of that now because we're at 0.2 months, 0.2 months, 0.2 months, 0.8 months, 0.9 months, 1.6 months? Yeah. People still need a place to live. There are still investors that have been flush with cash that are looking for properties. They just are. So real estate's something that's always, a necessity. A roof over your head's obviously a necessity. And we have just got inventory. There's only 172 active properties in Santa Rosa County. So 350 in Escambia and 172 in Santa Rosa. That's what, 522 total? That should be closer to 5,000 in a neutral market. We're not there yet. If you're thinking about doing anything, give me a shout. Now, if you're looking at selling, I've got some sellers that are coming on the market soon, and they're getting some seriously good prices right now. Buyers, depending on what you need, you just need to be prepared. It's not so much so to where you can't buy a property. Properties are being closed left and right. You just got to be prepared to do what you need to do in order to get it. So there's that. All right. Kind of a quick show this week, but maybe not. I guess we'll probably hit the 10-minute mark. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?